It's pretty cold in Hyderabad. I hope it is the same at Delhi and some of the few places. My hands are freezing cold. How are you all doing, guys? You can use the chat box. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the response. So, as we keep doing a lot of topics, and we have created a poll this week, and as you all see, the majority we got it for this particular topic, and we thought immediately we'll do this for you. So I hope you all take the inputs and the insights and able to chew what is actually given and come back with your questions and discuss with us in the later part of the session. So before we jump into the session, let me introduce the speaker of the day. So today is the 21st day of the National Nutrition Awareness Campaign that we are conducting. And I welcome our speaker of the day today. She's Shivapriya Periyasamy. She has done her master's in applied nutrition. She's a clinical dietitian and holistic nutrition coach based in Chennai with over 11 plus years of experience. She has rendered her service in multi-speciality hospitals, fertility centers, and she's a diabetic educator too. She has an experience of 7 years as a fertility nutritionist. Her area of specialization is gut health and hormonal imbalances. Her interest is to help people who suffer with ignorance. So I can relate to this very much, Priya. Her motto is to create a healthy relationship with food. Guys, please mute yourself, please. Her area of specialization is gut health and hormonal imbalances. Her interest is to help people who suffer with ignorance. Her motto is to create a healthy relationship with mind, food, and emotion. She always says, when you're so careful about food poisoning, then why are you so careless about mind poisoning? So she always tries to help her clients by creating a harmony between mind, body, and soul rather than just the diet and the body. So very well said, Shivapriya. Team, can you please kindly mute all participants? Yeah. Thank you so much and welcome to the show, Shivapriya.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Good morning, all. Vanakkam.
Okay, let me pin you. Yeah. So here is Shivapriya for you all. So guys, a few instructions for all the new joinees. For people, this is a virtual meet. We are just trying to use the technology, and the only way we can have a smooth discussion is by having some good silence. So the initial part, when the discussion is going on, please kindly mute all of you. And when you get a chance to discuss with us, you can definitely unmute or use the chat box and connect with us. So thank you so much for the kind cooperation. So what is that we are going to discuss today? So I was thinking earlier are the days, if I think some 20 years or 30 years back, earlier are the days where age is considered as one of the factors for all the health concerns. You know, when people become 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, that's where people used to, okay, I'm not well kind of scenario we used to see around. But those are the days. And gone are the days. We don't have any more such scenario these days because if I consider my childhood days, my grandparents used to have some digestion issues, you know. But if I see this scenario and this present conditions, if I see 10 people, 8 of them have this digestion and gut issues. Okay, why this is happening so much? Why people are experiencing so much of unpleasant changes with their own system? No. Earlier, as the age used to progress, it's always said that the body becomes little inactive. That's how the digestive system becomes sluggish, and that's where the problems used to come. or take special conditions like pregnancy because of the hormones, the digestion is impacted. But we don't have any of those things now, but every other person has the same problem. So why? That is the focus on today, and the topic for the discussion for today, acidity and all gastrointestinal issues that we are going to deal with today. So Shivapriya, let's tell our clients and our audience of today what is all about acidity.
Acidity. See, nowadays so many people are suffering with this acidity, as you said. No, olden days it was very less, but nowadays it has become like 80%, 90% people are suffering with this acidity. So what is acidity actually? In a simple lay term, I can say like backflow of our food content. The food we eat, right? The food and water are the two things which going in from our mouth. So the food we eat, which enter into our food pipe, then it enter into our stomach. So the end of the food pipe, there will be a layer wall. It's like a gatekeeper, I can say. So whatever food we eat, what actually the gatekeeper will do? He'll open the gate, and again, once all the person's gone inside, he'll close the gate, right? So when the wall get opens, when we start eating the food, the walls get open, and all the food will go into the stomach. But if the gatekeeper fails to do its job properly, what happens? Anyone can come inside, anyone can go out. It all become mess, right? Okay, so that's so. The food enter into the stomach, mix with the acid, stomach acid, then it has to go into the small intestine. If the gatekeeper fails to do its job properly, all the food contents along with the acid will flow back into our esophagus. That's where we call it as acidity actually. That's where we get that irritation, we call it as acidity. Just a backflow of our food content again into the food pipe.
Right. So having said that, so I'll stop you here for a while, and this is a question to you all audience. What is acidity for you? Use the chat box and type your symptoms or your experiences and let us know what do you think is acidity. Come on, guys. You have 30 seconds to go. Please use the chat box and let us know so that we can help you better, because this is just to understand the kind of audience we have today. Anita says not eating proper quantity in proper time. Divya says burning sensation in stomach, nausea. Kamalam says feeling burning sensation. Okay. Keep typing, guys. Lakshmi says burning sensation, burning sensation. Okay, the major reasons of burning sensation. Anything else, guys? Belching. Lakshmi says belching and too much of belching. Any other symptoms? Headache. Kavita says she has headache and she thinks this is related to acidity. Okay. So any other? Burning in the chest area, nausea, gas, bloating, dizziness. Okay, this is a lot of symptoms. Heaviness after eating food is what. Okay, so we have got a lot of symptoms. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the response. So as you heard the responses from our audience, Shivapriya, so what do you think? What are the true symptoms of acidity? What could be the first signs of having an acid reflux or acidity or whatsoever?
Yeah. The first symptoms is like chest burn, chest irritation, chest compression will be there. They feel like something is there in the chest. That's the first one. Second one is a throat irritation will be there. Then bloating, burping, gas formation, regurgitation will be there. So even some people feel like difficult to swallow. They feel like something choking in the stomach, throat area actually. They find very difficult to swallow. Even some people will get dry cough also. Yeah, this is what the main symptoms are: bloating, burping, chest compression, throat irritation, difficulty to swallow. The food pipe has become narrow.
Okay, so Samata was saying feeling sourness in the mouth. This is what is regurgitation, like getting the things back into your mouth from the stomach is, that's where you feel the taste of the acid. So this is also one of the major symptoms, rightly said, Samata. So having said that, we hear a lot of different terminologies these days. So we'll throw some light for your audience, Shivapriya, like what is this acid reflux and what is this GERD? What is acidity? How they can differentiate? What is the basic understanding of these things?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. See, acid reflux and acidity are more or less same only. Okay. In the layman term, we call it as acidity, but in medical term, it's a condition called acid reflux. Acid reflux is nothing but, as I mentioned earlier, just a compression in the chest or chest irritation. Okay, so let me explain you first why do we get chest irritation. Okay, so that you can able to understand like what is acidity, what is acid reflux, and what is GERD. See, as I mentioned earlier, the food backflow is, we call it as acidity or acid reflux. So why do we get irritation actually? If the food is going backflow, why do we get irritation? Because the stomach contains hydrochloric acid. Okay, this is the most powerful acid in our body because its pH level is like 1 to ranges from 1 to 3.5. This is more acidic. Okay, God designed in such a way that the stomach only carries this powerful acid. No other organ can able to tolerate it. Our esophagus is not designed in such a way to carry this acidic property. So what happens when the food comes backflow into the food pipe, we get irritation because of this acidic medium. Okay, but stomach will not get irritation because stomach mucus layer is designed in such a way. Okay, that's why we get throat irritation. If it spreads to the throat, you get throat irritation, all because of this hydrochloric acid. So the difference between acid reflux and GERD is called as gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's like a big brother. More or less same. The complicated case of acid reflux, prolonged exposure of acid reflux, we call it as GERD, GERD. When chest compression alone we call acidity, but when it spreads here to the throat, we get throat irritation. When it spreads to larynx or voice box, pharynx, there we call it as GERD. That's the difference between acidity and GERD.
Okay. So guys, this is just to understand for you all so that you can take an action when you have to see a gastroenterologist or a physician, and when you can actually approach for a healthcare professional to understand that we have got this topic, so that you get the detail of what is what, so you can help yourself well. So having said that, see, most of the times, and for majority of the people around us, stress. End of the day, people are like irritated, frustrated, not able to do what they want, not able to achieve what they want. They have big dreams, and a lot of things doesn't go as we plan. Sometimes we do leave about the future dreams. Sometimes we want to sleep and people are not even able to sleep. So what is the role of this stress? Why I'm talking about this as a first thing is, the moment acidity, the focus goes on the food. So even before food, I want you to throw some light to our audience on how the stress plays a role in this management of acidity.
Yeah, of course. See, stress plays a major role actually. Stress plays a foremost or first role in management of acidities, in bringing the condition of acidity to. So what happens in stress? Our body will move into, everybody knows this, most of the people know this, our body will move into fight or flight mode. This is called as survival mode. Okay. So what happens when we are in survival mode? Our body's sympathetic nervous system will get activated. It means our body will try to protect itself. So what are all the things it has to do for protection? That will, the major importance will be given to those organs. Especially what's important for us: heartbeat, then lungs. So when we are in stress, constant stress, our body will give importance only to heart and the lungs, because to pump the blood throughout the body, then to breathe. Okay. But our digestive system, our gut is depend on parasympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system gets activated in the stress, parasympathetic nervous system will not get preference. So if parasympathetic nervous system, if our gut organs not getting preference, what happens? There will be a less blood supply, blood flow will not be good. So if there is no proper blood supply, all the organs will not function efficiently. So stomach acid will not get produced. That will lead to indigestion, bloating, burping. All the issues are just because of this stress. I can say this is simple. When it goes into stress, we'll not get preference from our body. Our body itself will not give preference to us for digestion.
Right. So this is as simple as it, guys. Guys, suppose if China, some neighboring countries declare war on us, Pakistan or any other country, what our military force does? Does it keep supplying milk to the country, or does it go and fight among us, the enemies? The same thing is the body does at our end. The stress management system is considered as the military force of a body. And when there is stress, it is just like war for the body. And when there is war, it has to be tackled. We cannot put it apart. As we keep our thoughts like, okay, this is okay, yes, sab chalta hai. We keep this aside and we keep moving, but it is still there inside your body and your subconscious mind. And when it is still there, all your organ systems will come to a halt, and the stress hormones will take over, thinking that there is an emergency. That's what impacts your digestive system. So the first and foremost point to be considered priority on management list is stress management. So having said that, usually when there is acidity, people want to manage with food. But I want you to throw some light. Is it that there is an incidence of acidity and people should manage with food, or there is an imbalance in their own food and there are deficiencies in their own diet which is causing this problem of acidity? So how do you take this? Like, what is happening around?
Acidity, the main cause is like, as I said, mentioned earlier, like stress. That is the main cause. First one. Second thing is a low stomach acid. Okay. We know there are acidity means two types are there, low stomach acid and high stomach acid. But we know only hyperacidity. But here I want to focus about hypoacidity actually. 95% of the people nowadays are suffering with this hypoacidity, not because of hyperacidity actually. Okay, but only 2 to 5% people are suffering with hypoacidity, but we don't know this actually. We don't know the fact. So for proper secretion of HCl, why this hypoacidity occurs first place? For the proper secretion of HCl, there is no proper secretion of HCl. For this to secrete, first we need to give the raw materials. First we need to give the nutrients which is required for this HCl to produce. Okay, though the production is there, stress is the one thing that is going to reduce it. Okay, and second part is nutritional deficiencies. If we are lacking in certain nutrients, if we are deficient in certain nutrients, then definitely our body will not produce enough HCl, right? So the main ingredients, main nutrients that is required for this acid production is zinc, sodium, potassium, and chlorine. All these are more important for the production of HCl. But nowadays, I'm seeing so many people are deficient in zinc especially. So if we lack zinc, definitely our body cannot able to produce HCl. That will lead to low stomach acid. Again, it will lead to bloating, burping, acidity, acid reflux. This is how the nutrient deficiency also plays a major role in acid reflux.
So guys, I hope this is very, very important takeaway. You might not have heard this kind of version anywhere because people just know how to manage acidity. Because I was just checking the Google Trends information, and what I found the most interesting part: when people have acidity, what is the first thing that they look for in Google? What is the one single term I got? ENO. So when there is an incident of acidity, people try to manage it either with or with something else, or a food management for the time being. But the important underlying problem here is not only managing why it has occurred, the cause of the cause, which we always say, like, you have this problem because you have a deficiency of various nutrients which are important to form the healthy acid in your body. It is required. When this is not there, there is a functional disturbance. That's what is triggering to the specific conditions. And what are we doing? We are just managing the specific conditions, but we are not addressing the problem, why it has arisen. So this is the main reason. You all have to get in touch and meet a good coach, a nutritional coach, who can assess your food history and let you know if there are deficiencies around. So having said that, as you said, you see a lot of issues on low hypo acidity, which is nothing but the low stomach acid. And we see on a contrast, in a parallel note, we also see a lot of cases coming up with a lot of indigestion issues. Eating is a problem and digesting the food is a bigger problem than that. So what is the how do you see this? Is it related, the low stomach acids and the indigestion? Is it how they are correlated? Can you throw some light for our audience
Yeah.
today?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. See, everything, each and everything is correlated in our body. When it comes to digestion, there is a saying like, what we eat, what we are saying, everyone would have heard. But recent statement is, what we digest, what we are. Okay. See, good digestion, we need good amount of acid, as I mentioned earlier, because stomach acid, the food enter into a mouth, then it enter into the food pipe, then the stomach. There it get mixed with the hydrochloric acid. Most of the protein gets breakdown there in the stomach itself. Okay. All the food particles will get breakdown and certain amount of mineral also get absorbed. For this to happen, we need certain enzymes. Okay. For protein, certain enzymes are there. For carbohydrate, certain enzymes are there. Fat, certain enzymes are there to break down the food we eat. But if the stomach acid is very low, these enzymes, which are required for the digestion, will not secrete, will not get activated actually. So the pepsin, example pepsin. Pepsin is an enzyme which is responsible for breakdown of protein in the stomach. But this pepsin will not immediately get activated. Enough stomach acid, enough pH should be there so that this pepsin get activated. That's why most of the people, after eating sambar, dal related, that whole grams related foods, they complain like, ma'am, I'm feeling gassy after eating this dal related food. So I avoided completely, avoided eggs also. No, it's not like, don't blame the food, don't blame the dals or whole grams actually. It's because you are lacking in the enzymes which is required for the protein digestion. Why do you lack that enzyme? It's because of low stomach acid. And the second thing is bile. That is also responsible for digestion of fat. So bile is getting released from the liver, then it goes to the gallbladder. From there, it has to release for the digestion. But if the stomach acid is low, even bile cannot release from the gallbladder. So bile get accumulated, bile salts will get accumulated in the gallbladder. That will lead to gallstones. Most of the people don't know. It's one of the reasons actually. Don't know why do they get gallstones. Gallstones are also because of low stomach acid. That has to trigger the bile actually. Then pancreas. Pancreas plays a huge role in digestion because 90% of the digestive enzymes are secreted from the pancreas. Remaining 10% hormone, which secrete hormones. Pancreas is responsible for carbohydrate, as I said, fat and protein digestion. But to secrete that enzyme, to release the enzyme, stomach acid should be proper so that the signal will come from the stomach that I am ready, so you just release the enzyme. But if there is no enough stomach acid, it will not get the signal to release the digestive enzymes. Again, it will lead to indigestion. The pancreas will not release the enzyme. We cannot be able to digest the food. Again, it will lead to indigestion and gas formation. This is how the stomach acid plays a huge role in digestion, actually, in acid reflux again.
So wonderfully said, Shivapriya. So, guys, the stomach acid is just like a mother of your home. If the mother, the women in the main role, if she is missing, the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder, the other members of the family, everybody's work is disturbed. Nothing can happen in place. Right?
Exactly.
Similarly, people become lazy and things doesn't happen on time. Similarly, the enzymes, they all, there is a need. They all secrete in an inactive form. For example, as Shivapriya ma'am is mentioning about pepsin, it is actually secreted in the form of pepsinogen, which is an inactive form. The acid will activate it into pepsin. For all this activation process, we need HCl. Similarly for vitamin D is synthesized inside our body. Why so much of vitamin D deficiency around? It is manufactured in our body, but it is in an inactive form that needs to be converted in an active form. For that, a lot of processing is required, a lot of nutrients, a lot of things. Okay, that's a different story. We'll come up to vitamin D later, but I hope you all got the point. For that, like HCl, your acid, please don't blame it. It's just like your mother. It's very, very important and crucial for your digestive system. So as we are talking a lot on low stomach acid, so I have a very interesting scenario here, Shivapriya. If you see around our everyday life, every single doctor prescription, the default medication is antacids. Be it anything, taking from a simple fever to a bypass surgery, you take any kind of doctor prescription, antacids are part of it. They have become a default prescriptive drug. On the other hand, it is an over-the-counter drug. We don't need a prescription to get an antacid. It's easily available in all the medical shops. So the moment they think that they have something, people just go and grab it and just have it without even any concern. So this, both the scenarios from the doctors fraternity and also from the regular general population, there is a wide increase in the usage of antacids. And on the other side of the coin, we have people suffering with low acids and consumption of antacids, because antacid is something which acts against your acid. So how do we correlate both the situations and throw some light how these antacids are actually, what are they doing and how it is actually creating?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Is it helping
Even
or is it not helping? Is something you have to throw light on it.
again, we cannot blame antacid. See, antacid is to suppress your acid level. We are seeing, as you mentioned, take 2 minutes, your condition will go off. Because we cannot blame people also. Our marketing, we have seen in TV in such a way, they'll see the stomach, they show the stomach part, right? The fire, because acid is more. It's secreting more. It's there, but not in all the conditions. It's there. Hyperacidity is there. But as I mentioned, very few, 2 to 5% people are suffering with hyperacidity. A certain drug like antibiotics, whenever you see, when the doctor prescribes antibiotics, default this pantoprazole will be there. The antacids will be there. Okay, because antibiotics will increase the acid production. That's why they are giving this antacids to suppress it. But without knowing the condition, what we are going through, if you get chest pain, if you get throat irritation, something is there, I think it's acidity, I have to go and buy something else from the medicine, over the counter medicine, it's easily available. So get it and gulp it. But what my humble request is, before jumping into the drug, just try to find out why do have this condition actually. When I eat spicy food, when I eat sweets, when I eat biryanis, why do I get this? Because our body has the ability to digest everything. All these foods we have been having for all these years actually. Why do I get this suddenly? What is the reason behind it? When you take antacid, you are just, as you mentioned, you are just wiping the symptoms. You are not addressing the root cause of it. Okay. Drugs are prescribed by the doctors for your goodness, for your well-being. You must be going and meet the doctor for some other condition. They must be prescribed for some other reason. Okay. Example like your beta blockers, your painkillers, your asthma-related thing, vasodilators, Valium drugs, your bronchodilators, everything will aggravate or suppress your conditions according to your condition actually. Okay, so before jumping into the antacid, just make sure whether you have hypo or hyperacidity. But without knowing, if you jump into this antacid, you are making yourself more and more worse. Already low stomach acid is there. If you take antacid, it's again going to make your condition worse, right? That's what. So never take antacid, whether you know exactly that you are suffering with hyperacidity, because hypo and hyperacidity symptoms are same only. If you are suffering with hyperacidity, just take it. Otherwise, better to abuse the drugs.
Okay, that's a wonderful insight. So guys, stay tuned. End of the session, Shivapriya ma'am is going to give you one home solution wherein you would be able to find out whether you are hypo or hyperacidity. Okay, well, for that you have to stay till the end of the session. So as we go ahead, Shivapriya, like, okay, yesterday I conducted this, 2 days back, I conducted a poll in the group, like what is the most interested topic for you all? And the majority, 50 plus people opted for acidity. That indicates the amount of, mm, mm, the spectrum of people suffering with this particular condition. So having said that, we also see a lot of nutritional deficiencies. Everybody has B12 deficiency or vitamin D deficiency or iron deficiency or some other deficiency. There and people gulping tablets and tablets of all multi vitamin and minerals, but still end of the day, the deficiencies still persist. So how do we relate both the things, the acidity and the nutritional deficiencies?
Yes, nutritional deficiencies. See, stomach acid should be maintained in acidic, so that I mentioned already, there is certain minerals, certain vitamins are getting absorbed in the stomach. We all know majority of the nutrients are getting absorbed in the small intestine, but still stomach also absorbs certain vitamins and minerals. But for that to happen, we need good stomach acid medium. pH should be 1 to 3. So it should be acidic so that it can absorb the nutrients. Whatever super exotic foods we eat, if you see the report that there is a deficiency, it means we have to see the stomach acid. How the stomach acid. Example, your minerals like calcium, magnesium is getting absorbed in the stomach. If there is no proper stomach acid, then there will be a calcium deficiency. So if there is a calcium deficiency, again, as you said, vitamin D will not get absorbed because it's like go together. Calcium deficiency will lead to vitamin deficiency. So what happens when our body, if there is no proper calcium, what our body will do, because calcium we need for so many metabolism, it will pull out the calcium from bones. Our bones become fragile, then lead to osteoporosis. Then vitamins, vitamin B12. Nowadays, we are seeing so many people are suffering with B12 deficiency. They'll say, ma'am, I'm a non-vegetarian. I'm eating a lot of organ meats, everything, but still I'm facing this issue because you have low stomach acid. One of the reasons. B12 to get absorbed, we need some intrinsic factor in the stomach. That intrinsic factor get activated when there is enough stomach acid. If there is no enough stomach acid, then B12 will not get, intrinsic factor will not get activated, then B12 will not get absorbed. Then iron, folic acid, all the vitamins C, then total B vitamins are getting absorbed in the stomach. So if you're facing issues like whatever food, whatever supplements I eat, that time being it will go, time being it will be normal. Again, it will drop down. Then you have to watch your stomach acid level. So because of this, we'll face symptoms or complications like hair fall, dryness will be there. So many people will feel like tingling sensation in the fingers, tip of the fingers because of B12 deficiency. They'll say, Ma'am, I'm taking supplements. I stopped it after treatment. Still, I'm facing this because it's not there. Again, it's a drop down. Tingle sensation is also because of diabetes, the nephropathy condition, but still, this is also one of the reasons. B12. Then acne will be there, dark patches, dark pigmentations, dry hair, fragile nails. All these are because of low stomach acid. Because your nutrients are not getting properly, not getting absorbed properly. The bioavailability of the nutrients is reduced. That's the reason we face nutritional deficiencies.
So, guys, I hope you all got the point. How many of you have watched Tare Zameen Par movie? Raise your hands. Okay. So what Amir Khan says to that boy's father, if you want to kill a tree, the Adivasis, they go to the tree and they keep cursing the tree endlessly. You don't even need an axe to put off the tree. Similarly, the stomach acid, it is so vital. So vital for the absorption of so many nutrients. And what are we going to do that? And we are keep blaming the acid that it is affecting us. Is it not the same scenario? So let's find out how the quality of your stomach acid is and whether you're in hypo or hyper. These things are very, very important. So just taking antacids and taking the other things will not help you to get rid of this problem. So we have two more points to discuss. Meanwhile, guys, whatever questions you have, please keep posting in the chat box. We'll take it in next 10 minutes. So having discussed a lot of hypo and low stomach acid, Shivapriya, I also want you to throw some light on the H. pylori. We see a lot of people having stomach issues. They go to the specialist, and the endoscopy is prescribed as a default testing, and they go through that, and they get to know like they have colonies and colonies of H. pylori bacteria building in the stomach. And they will be given this H. pylori kits. They'll take it, then it's not still reduced, they'll take another kit. It keeps on going. So what is the major reason? Still now we are thinking that acidity is because of high acid production. Now people also got to know it's because of low acid production. But where this bacteria has come and why it is affecting our stomach? Can you throw some light on this?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. See, H. pylori has become like 60% of the population are suffering with this H. pylori bacteria actually, because it's highly contagious. This bacteria is this one H. pylori is. How it spreads, like, no, if one person is having, if you share the food of the other person, that's a chance of getting H. pylori to you. Then by sharing the food, by sharing the water container, water bottles, glass bottles, straws, by using the common toilets, all these are the reason for the spread of H. pylori. And also, if one family member gets positive, there is a chances of getting to the entire family members. That must spreading fast, contagious it is. So if you face issues like stomach pain, bloating, burping, everything is there. If you suspect that you have H. pylori, because what happens is H. pylori will enter into the stomach. Okay, our stomach acid should be acidic, as I mentioned earlier. Why it is acidic? God designed in such a way because to kill the virus, pathogens, bacteria, to kill. That's why it's this much acidic. But nowadays, no one's stomach acid is acidic. Most of the people are suffering with alkaline medium. So what happens? This bacteria, they enter easily and they enjoy like anything because no one is there to kill this bacteria. That medium is not at all acidic. So it will enter into the stomach, make the stomach part ulceration, and then it will enter into a small intestine, create lot of gas, burping, bloating. So many issues, so many symptoms we'll face because of this H. pylori. Okay, if you want to do a test for H. pylori, a simple stool test are available nowadays. Give your stool sample, find out the antigen of H. pylori. Once it get positive, what has to be done? Doctors will be giving some, as you have mentioned, ma'am. So doctors will be giving so much of course, like for 3 months, 6 months. Still, we need to treat this H. pylori like our guest. These people are our guest. What we do when guest comes? 3 days they will stay in a room, maximum 5 days. They will not stay more than that because they'll miss their house, right? Oh my God, I miss this in my house. But we'll treat all this infection like our family members. We'll give them nice food, what and all they need. We'll make them nice bed so that they can sleep and enjoy nicely. No, this is not the way. Now, what I mentioned is food, sleep in the sense, all your processed foods, sweets, junk foods, all these things. See, first thing you have to do to get rid of this is make your medium acidic so that it will not survive more. First thing. Second thing is give some good amount of pre and probiotics. Actually, pre and probiotics will not going to kill the H. pylori. It will not have a direct effect on stomach acid, but it will further prevent, because what is pre and probiotic? It's a good bacteria, right? Probiotic is a good bacteria. So if the number of good bacteria increases, if the number of bad bacteria decreases, what happens? This H. pylori, the rate of spreading, rate of increasing will get reduced. We can eradicate it slowly. So in turn, it will reduce the severity of the stomach acid reflux. Okay. So this in turn, we can help this H. pylori to prevent the further growth of H. pylori. Then give them nice vitamin U. What is that vitamin U? I think it's very new. Vitamin U is nothing but sulfur. Sulfur compounds has the ability to kill your H. pylori. It's a good one to kill your H. pylori. Sulfur compounds means all cruciferous vegetables, I can say, like cabbage, cauliflower, kale, Brussels, broccoli, all these compounds have a lot of sulfur. So if you take these compounds, it will kill this H. pylori bacteria. But overcook of this will destroy the sulfur compound. So please never overcook it. Just take it as a raw juice or in a fermented form. Next, give good amount of honey you can take to kill the H. pylori, raw unpasteurized honey. Then garlic. Garlic also has a lot of sulfur. So just mash some 2-3 garlic cloves and mix with honey, you can have it. That also has the ability to kill this H. pylori. And one more important is stress. Okay, my mentor always used to say like, see, if you're walking in the road in the rainy season, the road is not good. It's fully damaged. So many water are stagnant in the road. Mosquitoes are coming, getting breed. Now we people get dengue. Now whom do you blame actually? Do you blame the mosquitoes for it? No, right? Because the road got damaged, that's why the mosquito got attracted. This is the way. We are stressing ourselves. We are giving stress to our gut, attracting this H. pylori. So reduce your stress part so that H. pylori will not survive more, will not breed. We already got positive. Good. So from our end, what are all the possible things we can do so that it will not exist anymore, it will not breed anymore actually. That's my view on H. pylori.
Wonderful, wonderful, Shivapriya. Thank you so much. So, guys, it's like we always segregate, categorize human beings into two types, the good and the bad. Do we all do that? Similarly, there is good bacteria and bad bacteria. And the balance, it has to be, the good has to be the higher so that you enjoy the positivity in life. And this H. pylori and all other bacteria, the bad bacteria, we are taking medicines to kill them, but the medicines will not only kill the bad bacteria, they also kill the good bacteria. You know, that's where all the gut issues are arising a lot. And that is the reason doctors prescribe antacids and other stuff along with the antibiotics. Because a medicine doesn't know what is good and what is bad. It will kill the entire thing. But it is our responsibility to take care of our health by having a proper lifestyle. You know, that's where. So thank you so much for the points on H. pylori, Shivapriya. The more questions, we'll take it. Maybe one question we can take it now. Someone is asking. 1 second, let me read it for you. Okay. So, okay, what food advice if patients of H. pylori and gastritis? I see. Same question was repeated twice. Okay, do you want to differentiate what is gastritis and what is H. pylori, Shivapriya?
Gastritis is infection in the stomach. Okay, H. pylori, we have to do diagnosis. Then only we will know. Gastritis is infection in the stomach. These infections are because of, again and again I'm saying, whatever infections we get are purely because of whether it is yeast, bacterial, fungal, whatever infection, it's because of your stomach acid is in alkaline level. That's why you are getting gastritis. That's why you're even autoimmune conditions, even leaky gut, even SIBO, small intestinal bowel overgrowth, all these are because of the bacteria, right? So what happens when all these bacteria, the medium is not acidic, and everything enter into our body, make our gut mess. That's why we are facing this bloating, gassing, gastritis and H. pylori.
H. pylori.
Both are different.
Yeah, but see, as Shivapriya was saying, gastritis is just a kind of infection to the stomach. H. pylori can be one of the types of infection. Okay, to make it precise, there are a lot of questions on how management techniques to manage belching and other things. Probably the final question will address most of you. So here is the final topic of discussion to you, Shivapriya. Like, can you share some recommendations, some general things that people can follow as a habit every day, so that this what helps them to get rid of this problem of acidity?
First thing is chew your food properly. See, why do I say chew your food properly is, once you start chewing the food, it mixes with the salivary juices. Then it gives a signal to our stomach, brain gives a signal that food is on the way. Keep ready with your HCl, stomach acid. So that once it enter into the stomach, it can mix with the HCl. But if you are not giving time for the food, you gulp it, then there won't be enough acid to break down the nutrients what we eat, break down the food what we eat. So start chewing your food. I can say like eat mindfully, give time for your food. Eating should be like a meditation. All your five senses should be in the food. Avoid gadgets. That's the first thing you have to do. And the second thing is take good amount of fermented foods. Fermented foods are good for not only acid, throughout the body it's good actually. Take good amount of fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, curd. I use leftover rice, put water, then I use curd. That is my fermented food. Then change your lifestyle actually. Keep hydrated. Even less water will also lead to low stomach acid. Reduce the stress part. That is the most important thing for stomach acid to get maintained. See, not only for stomach acid, if you are on constant stress, which in turn lead to nutritional deficiencies, as I mentioned earlier, low stomach acid, nutritional deficiencies. This will lead to hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalance will lead to imbalance in pro and prebiotics. So pro and prebiotics, again, we are making the medium alkaline, not acidic. We are inviting all the diseases into our body. So stress plays a huge role. Stress-free life, and the most important is from holistic point of view, I can say like fear. What happens next? What happens next? What's going to happen? After 10 years, what is going to happen? After 2 years, what is going to happen? Don't think about the future. This is the major people nowadays I'm seeing major emotion they are holding nowadays. So just don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. Past is past. Future is uncertainty. Try to live in the present moment. Do some meditation. Do some breathing exercise so that will not invite any of these diseases conditions into our life.
So very well said, Anita. Sorry, Shivapriya. This answers your question to Anita. She's asking for the healthy food practices which we need to follow for a stress-related acidity. First point is you never get to know whether the kind of acidity that you have is stress-related or something else. Please don't do that judgment by yourself, first of all. And the second main reason, and if you really want some practices to be stress-free is, as Shivapriya was just mentioning, the fear of future or what is going to happen next minute. The fear of anticipating things is what creating the stress for humans. Stop doing that. Try to live in the present moment. Enjoy your life. Be yourself this moment. That's what brings on the change. So you have a lot of appreciations from the group, Shivapriya. Great interventions. Okay, let me take up some more questions. Okay, ma'am, nowadays there is so much talk about alkaline food. What is your opinion on that?
Alkaline food, yeah, you can have no problem in alkaline food. See, if your medium is already alkaline, if you keep on having this alkaline food, definitely you're going to worsen your condition. In which condition you're going to take the alkaline food matters a lot. I'm not against alkaline food. I'm not against acidic food. Which it suits you, just take it. If it's not suits you, don't take it. That's all.
Yeah. Simple guys. So again, okay, this was asked by Shika. Actually, the thing is we have a lot of information around. The information out of the whole lot of information doesn't become knowledge to us. Whatever is useful, when we pick the things and apply to us, then we know like this, I know, so I'm trying. That becomes knowledge. But what you have to actually use for yourself, that's where the wisdom comes. So do we have that wisdom to actually know, understand, and help? Perfect. If not, please approach a coach. So then we have very useful information. Okay, there's a question on how to manage hiccups. I think this is not related to this, but hiccups is something involuntary action done by the diaphragm. It's not related to the acidity. So we will, I don't think that would be a relevant question here. How to increase stomach acid naturally is the question from Samatha. You want to answer this, Shivapriya?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. To increase the stomach acid, first we have to create an acid medium. Acid-rich food should be taken. Example like before your food, you can have, as soon as you wake up, you can have, but before that, just make sure whether you have acid or hyperacidity or hypoacidity. If it is hypo, then you can take all these things. Half a glass of lemon water, half lemon with 100 ml of water. That will give you acidic medium. Then take a pinch of ginger. In Japanese culture, in certain communities, they have the habit of taking ginger before their meal actually. Pink ginger, they'll say. Because their meal is like, what are whole meals now? So North Indian, South Indian meals, their meal we call it as sushi. So before they're taking sushi, because it will be heavy. So what they do is, before they're taking sushi, they'll take a pinch of ginger half an hour before that. They have that habit of taking, everyone used to take this to activate our stomach acid and also to activate our digestive enzymes. This helps a lot. Even I've tried in so many of my clients. So try this before your each and every meal. If you're low acidic, like if the pH level goes above 5, we call it as no stomach acid, achlorhydria. So the pH level maintains from above 4, 5, we call it as hypoacidity, hypochlorhydria. So in this condition, if you are facing severe acidity, I can say like take some, it's not natural actually, take some HCl supplement is available in the market, but don't take it without consulting any of the coaches. Naturally, you can have ginger, but direct HCl supplement is also available in the market. Even it's available in Amazon too. You can have that if your condition is very worse. If you cannot able to digest anything, if you are facing like unintentional weight losses, there you can approach our coaches. They will guide you.
Absolutely. And guys, since we are talking a lot on hypoacidity, don't think that you all have hypoacidity and you don't try to keep on doing things to increase your acidity. I really want to mention this here because it purely depends on your condition. We talk about the general scenario that we get to see around. If we see 50 people out of 40, if they're having this kind of scenario, we get it to the to the focus of the population so that you understand what is happening around. But before you apply on yourself, please do consider a healthcare professional. This is my sincere suggestion to you all, whoever wants to try on yourself. Okay, I would like to take one question, which is from Vibha. She was asking, nowadays people are buying alkaline water machines. Is this good? See, first of all, if you have hyperacidity, then you have something to neutralize that. And what the scenario that we see is not at all the same. But there is lack of information. In spite of having all this scenario of hypoacidity, if the people even start taking alkaline water, it still, deteriorates the condition. And we don't need alkaline water. See, we have a natural system around. Respect the nature. Nature has given water as the purest form. It's a free resource. And the nature has all the values in it and it knows what is needed to the body. We don't need a machine to repair the body. Please don't go to that state. Respect nature and have what you have naturally. Okay, okay. Probably, Shivapriya, there's a question from Samatha. She's asking, can we differentiate between hypo and hyper symptoms? It is not easy, but probably I will give it to you so that you can help people to identify it.
Yeah, actually, both the symptoms will be same. Hypo and hyperacidity, the symptoms will be same. So what you can do is, if you are really suffering with this, you just go and meet the GPs. They will do pH monitoring tests there. They'll do some endoscopy, like they'll put a tiny camera into a mouth, then find out whether you have enough acid or not, enough pH is maintained or not. I can suggest you a simple home test, like take some baking soda, mix it with a glass of water. Because our stomach is acidic medium, baking soda is alkaline medium. If these both will mix, that will release carbon dioxide. Acid and acidic will mix and we get carbon dioxide, that is called as burps. So if you have this in the early morning, if you get burps within 2 minutes, then you have enough stomach acid. But single reading cannot conclude it. Just do it for 3 days. Even I prescribe to my clients also. So some people know they never get burps. Some people will get after 5 minutes, some people will get 6 minutes. This is a simple home test. Try to do it and find out whether you have a good acidic medium or not.
Okay. Thank you. And Mamata, I will share the video recording. Please go through it. We cannot repeat the same discussion. And we have Dr. Suresh here. Sir, would you like to add something to the points here? Sir, you're muted. Meanwhile, thank you guys. Thank you for all the compliments here. So there is one question from Manju. Meanwhile, how do we know about low or high acids in our stomach? That's what we just discussed, Manju. Just for the same thing, there was a home test given. Shivapriya, there's a question, how much baking soda?
3 grams, 1 to 3 grams, I can say, like take a teaspoon of baking soda with 200 ml of water. Can you able to get it? 1 teaspoon. Yes. 1 teaspoon is 3 grams.
Sir is unable to mute.
Yeah, now he's.
Yeah, right. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
I don't have earphones. So. Right. So that's a wonderful discussion, Shiva. Very nice. So there are 2 to 3 points I would like to add here. First is acidic food and alkaline food. Okay. When you say acidic food and alkaline food, you need to differentiate between what is an external environment and what is an internal environment, and what is external environment. Okay. So external environment is something outside of your body. That is called external environment. You see a citrus fruit, we know it is acidic in nature. Got it? Right? That is there outside of your body. But what is the internal environment that we are talking about? Our stomach is not our internal environment. What do we call as internal environment is our circulation, that is our blood. Okay. So why this is important, and what do you call this stomach then? So if you see human body as a huge cylinder, there is a pipe on one end which opens at the bottom, mouth to anus. It is a continuous tube. Okay, with the different variations in structure and their contours and their functionalities. So it is a continuous tube. So it is a big cylinder. In that you have one continuous tube, and I call this, I call this system as extra external environment. Okay, you cannot completely say it is internal environment, because internal environment means that is blood circulation. The blood, whatever constituents are there in the blood, it is the nutrients, the hormones, the enzymes, the immune system cells, or the antibodies, all of them put together, including the waste products like urea, uric acid, and all these things. It is called internal environment. External environment is totally outside of your body. Digestive system, whatever that is there, starting from saliva or the gastric acid or the enzymes that you get from pancreas and small intestine, and the gut bacteria that is there in colon and the small intestine, all of them, you cannot call that as totally an internal environment. It is an external environment. Why this is important? Because people are a bit confused when Shiva was telling about like acidic food and why the hypochloremia, lack of enough acid, which is breeding ground for pathogens like H. pylori and all. So people are getting confused between alkaline, the importance of alkaline foods. So, and here she is saying that taking alkaline food is counterintuitive. So I want to clear that doubt. That's why I have given this context first. Okay. The foods that are called alkaline, though citrus fruit, it is acidic in nature. But when you consume, and the end product that reaches, the metabolites that reaches into our blood circulation, once they are absorbed from your small intestine into your bloodstream, then they have the power to make our blood alkaline. Okay. So in external environment, it is acidic in nature. In stomach, it is still an irritant to some people who have this gastritis. But once that ascorbic acid or whatever acids that are there in either amla or citrus fruits, once they are metabolized, the final metabolites, when they enter the bloodstream, they make the blood more alkaline, because acidic blood is a breeding ground for pathogens. Okay, acidic blood. I'm not talking about the acid in your stomach, because most of us, we believe that because food is going inside, the food that is there in your stomach, in your intestines, in the colon, is not internalized yet. It is under the process. Got it? So don't get confused between these two. So when people were talking about this Kaizen and the alkaline water, what they are saying is the water has the power to change the pH from acidic to alkaline in nature. But if you look at the pH of blood, right? I assume that so many uh, visitors are here, coaches and professionals. I'm taking this liberty. What is the meaning of pH? pH is, H stands for hydrogen atoms. P stands for power. Power of hydrogen atoms is called pH. Okay. And it is the inverse log. See, the logarithm, the log mathematics that we use is to calculate huge numbers. So it is just not like adding certain amount of acid will change your pH in any significant way. So the pH of the blood is almost like maintained by the buffer systems in our body. Okay, sorry, it is becoming too technical for some of the people, but try to get the point. So the blood pH will not change that drastically. Body has got enough these things. So the foods, when you say alkaline foods, right? It is not that it have the effect on your stomach acid alone. When they say alkaline foods or acidic foods in nature, most of the literature or the information that you see on Google, okay, because uh, acids thrive in, I mean, like how pathogens thrive in acidic environment, and cancer cells grew in acidic environment. So, and the sugars, they create acidic blood. So all these things, they say that even in some people, because of this, what do you say, epilepsy, they use keto diet to control the sugar so that the blood will not become acidic and they don't have enough firepower for the brain to act weirdly. So all these things are a different thing. What Shiva mentioned here in his presentation about like lack of acid, that is stomach. It is not yet your internal body. So try to get this point very clearly. Okay. Having said that, H. pylori and the acidity. Yes, I mean, the doctor who discovered the connection between H. pylori and the gastritis and stomach ulcers, he got Nobel Prize. And I mean, I don't know. I seriously have some questions about that. It is like chicken and egg. Which one is first? Okay. But for me, the common sense says that it is because, just like Shiva mentioned, you spoiled the internal system so that H. pylori is spreading over there. But what doctors, I mean, we doctors, we need to find a culprit. So in all gastritis cases, or in all acidity cases, or in all GRD cases, we find always the, what is it, the H. pylori over there. And if we find to fill that H. pylori, and the gastritis is gone. Okay, for us it is a convenient thing because we can prescribe a medicine. Because we doctors cannot prescribe lifestyle, we cannot prescribe habit changes. That is the job of holistic coaches, the job of all yours. So we doctors, we always try to find the culprit. Okay, so it is the changes in lifestyle, just like she mentioned, because we are creating the breeding ground for H. pylori. That makes a lot of sense to me. But if I wear my doctor hat and see that, okay, H. pylori is always there in this case, so let's kill the H. pylori and see if it gets this thing. So it is having a symbiotic relationship. Excess acid in the stomach and H. pylori growth, they grow they both grow hand in hand. Just like you have a pool of water on the road and the mosquitoes breed. So which one is first? Got it? So, but if you try to manage your lifestyle and get rid of the stress factor and all these things and sleep properly, yes, it can be addressed. Okay. And gastritis, when you mentioned about like antibiotics and they produce a lot of acid. Yes, why stomach produces a lot of acid when antibiotics are prescribed. Okay. So here it is not that the antibiotics are responsible directly for excess acid production, but it has got a long story, because the antibiotics, just like they are military, whosoever is, they see on the opposite side, they will just shoot, whether they are civilians or this thing, and they don't have any kind of discrimination. An enemy is an enemy. So when you give an antibiotic to kill a specific strain of bacteria, there are good bacteria in our stomach also, especially in our colon. All the food has passed through the entire lining of our digestive system. When they go and when they start killing the healthy bacteria, the microbiomal balance is lost. When it is lost, so your ability to control your stress response is less. That means not only it is a diarrhea or stomach upset or weakness, but since the healthy bacteria are lost, that means the serotonin production, 80% to 90% of our serotonin production is from our gut bacteria. Serotonin is like feel good hormone, just like dopamine and oxytocin. Okay, its production is hampered, and that means your stress hormones, stress response, and the serotonin production by the bacteria, this balance is lost. So the stress response has gone up, and when the stress response has gone up, there is increased production. The acid production is there, but the mucus production is not there. Okay, Jyothi ma'am mentioned like when it is a war. Okay, you don't want movie theaters to run. It is not an emergency. Got it? Right? You don't want any cricket matches or football matches or any TV programs to run. So the whole country has to preserve the resources. So the mucus, when the production is decreased, even if you have small amount of acid production, it starts acting. She mentioned very clearly 1 to 3.5 pH. Okay. And even 4 to 5 is hypochloremia, and beyond 5 is achloremia. That means even if it is there, it is useless. So the normal acid production also can create ulcers or gastric irritation. That means the mucus layer is gone, and the parietal cells, the parenchymal cells lining the stomach, they get inflamed. And that inflammation is called itis. Any itis means inflammation. The whole stomach lining gets inflamed. Right? So these are the three things that I wanted to add. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege for us to have you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
guys, you all are so lucky that you've got an opportunity to hear from Dr. Suresh. Thank you so much, sir. So Shiva, so anything else that you want to conclude today's topic? Any takeaway lines? You want concluding?
Yeah, this stomach acid is not a very big life-threatening condition. It's not a very life-threatening condition, but still, it inflame our stomach. As I mentioned, it inflame our stomach. It will reduce the quality of our life. So please focus on to it. If you are facing all these issues, don't neglect it. Try to find out the root cause of it. Don't gulp into the antacids. Don't wipe the symptoms. Just work on the root cause. We are happy to help you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shiva. So guys, if you have acidity, please, the focus should not be on your stomach. The stomach is a part of your body. The whole body has to be taken care, and that's where comes the lifestyle. So it's an overall, you have to look around and look inside, not only at a specific organ. So thank you so much, Shiva, for being with us. It was a very, very insightful and very knowledgeable session, and I hope this information will be utilized by all the people around. They will have a lot of compliments. Wonderful explanation, very informative session. I learned a lot today. Thank you so much. And so wonderful. Thank you, guys. So that's all for today. Let's join us next Sunday for another interesting topic. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity. sharing my
The
knowledge.
pleasure is
Thanks a
all
lot.
mine.
Thanks
Pleasure
everyone
is all
who
ours.
joined. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. Bye bye, guys. See you all next Sunday. Team, wind up the session.